Today's video is about dog is God spelled backwards. I'm sure you've all heard of this before, and I thought it was very interesting. If you actually start thinking and pondering on this, one gets a lot of insight into the nature of God and us. And as many of you know, the English language is a kind of cursed language, but also it's a cheat code. It gives you a lot of insight into the ways of this realm. So it curses you, but also it shows its hand. So you're able to see things and unwrap certain riddles that you may have not otherwise realized just by looking at the English language. So with this, dog is God spelled backwards. And a lot of people online will tell you that this is not a coincidence. It's actually dogs are gifts from heaven, man's best friend, and they're here as angels from God. Whatever your opinion on that is, I'll leave it to you, but that is not what this video is about. This video is about our relationship to God, our relationship as a dog, and as God is our master. If you believe in history and everything they say about that, and we didn't just spawn in here, and everything was already programmed in here, according to this realm and its historians, dogs used to be wolves. And we domesticated these animals through the process of neoteny. That's a hard word to say. We bred specific juvenile features into these animals. In dogs, these juvenile behaviors are physical features of puppies, like rounded heads, proportionally large eyes, short muzzles, small body sizes. Juvenile behavior as tail wagging, licking, submission, and appeasement, and a general demeanor that's more friendly and playful rather than aggressive. We created these things specifically to have them less threatening and more appealing. Humans also have these traits of neoteny, which are round skulls, thinness of skull bones, reduction of brow ridge, large brain, large eyes, small nose, small teeth, small jaw, hairless body, limbs and body posture. You don't see such a large number of these traits in nature, yet you see them in domesticated animals and pets. We have been genetically manipulated to have these traits in order to make us more appeasing to these masters, in order for us to have certain behaviors that allows us to be better mastered over, to be submissive and docile and less aggressive and wanting to be led and guided, things that all domesticated animals have. We selected certain behavioral characteristics that best suited us as their master. And as you know, dogs are very loyal and obedient if trained properly. And all of this has to do with the domestication of this animal over the years, as they say. If it wasn't just some computer code that they entered into this world, and it was as they say it was, I don't know how it works. All I know is these animals have been designed and developed in ways that aren't natural so that it can better suit us as their masters. And the same is true for us humans. There's nothing natural about us evolving here in this realm. We also were products of domestication and alteration through genetic manipulation, just like these dogs. And we, as humans, were genetically manipulated severely in order to have weakened and monotonous traits, which just means having juvenile traits far past the maturity age, and you see that most in domesticated animals. So to compare us as the dogs of the gods, we are expected to be obedient and to follow the commands of our higher master, similar to how we treat dogs. Dogs are trained to obey the owner's every command without question. And in order to do this, we train them with certain little treats. And if they do what we say, we give them little rewards. And so, as in religion, the gods that most people serve expect us to be obedient and to follow their commandments. And in so doing, we get rewarded with abundance and material things, supposedly. That's what they promise in these religions. Dogs are also expected to serve us and to worship us. The pet's roles are to please us and perform certain tasks for us. Humans exist to serve and worship God. That is our sole purpose of being created. If you ask any Christian or any religious person who follows the mainstream religions, our purpose was to worship. We were created to serve and worship God. If that doesn't scream some kind of slave or some kind of domesticated pet, I don't know what else does. Pets have limited autonomy, limited freedom. They're confined in homes all day long, behind fences, on leashes. They don't have freedom to come and go as they please, for the most part. Unless you're a cat and you're an outside cat, you come and go as you please. But we're talking about dogs here. And it still applies, but we're talking about dogs. Most dogs, they're confined in homes and yards, in cages. And they are directed where to go, when to do it, and how many times. Humans also have limited boundaries set by divine will and natural laws. But also, we're giving little boxes to stay in and roads to drive on. But we can't go where we necessarily want to go. Dogs are exploited and other animals and bred to be trained to perform certain functions. Herding, hunting, guarding. They're bred to be a food supply, companionship, service, entertainment. Us as humans, we're also created to be exploited. So I believe dog is God spelled backwards is a clue, a riddle programmed into the cursed English language to not only curse us and to have it in our subconscious mind that we are to submit to these higher masters that lord over us, that have domesticated us to serve them. We as humans have been given a hint, a clue, as to what these gods have created us for. Are we like pets to these masters that want our loyalty and devotion and worship? Possibly. If you look at all the religions, the mainstream religions of the demiurgic world, the gods want your devotion, your worship, your loyalty, your service. You were created to serve this being. You were created for its entertainment, for its pleasure, and for its joy. And this master expects us, its dog, to be obedient to its every command. Similar to how dogs are expected to be obedient to their masters and will be punished accordingly for disobeying, even though the dog's natural instincts are to do the complete opposite. Our natural instincts, which we have no control over, which were just given to us by being born into this hell realm, it was not only created by this God, but now it wants us to fight against it. And this is our animalistic side versus our true spiritual side. The true spiritual side is always at war with the beast that is the body. It's like we're two beings that have been genetically manipulated and modified to be one. So we have all these base animalistic desires, but we have a higher spiritual faculty that the animals of this world lack. So we are constantly battling our higher and lower natures as these masters watch as their entertainment. But going back to the punishment and reward system of dogs, in religion, it's taught that if we don't follow the will of God, then bad things will happen to us. We are no longer under the protection of God's will. So he allows bad things to happen to us in order to chastise us, in order to heal us. Not heal as in make better. Well, yes, that's what they say, but heal as in a dog. You are under my control and my power. Submit to me. This God also monitors and watches over us at all times. Just like how a dog owner has complete control over its environment, where it goes, how long it's there, its schedule, complete dominion over this animal. And to this animal, this person seems like a god. This person doesn't age. This person can just manifest miraculous things like food and water, and it can take me out. It has control over the environment. It can open doors and lead me to greener pastures, so to say, on walks, and take me to dog park. So dogs are dependent on their masters for their needs and survival. Just how religion teaches us that we are dependent on God, our master, for our needs and survival. Our sustenance, our guidance, protection, fulfillment of our true purpose is only found in obedience to God, our master. We are trained and conditioned in the same way that dogs are. We may be conditioned through our life experiences, divine intervention, the life scripts that have been given to us, all the traumas, even the blessings that we receive. All of this is done to have us develop in ways that it wants us to be. All the trials and tribulations we face is like the dog owner punishing and rewarding the dog in order for it to submit and do what its owner wants it to do. And eventually it's just on command. It's just a habit. It's no longer a learning experience. It's just ingrained into its mind, and it does as God says. Dogs have undying loyalty and devotion to their masters. They were designed and bred to have these behaviors in order to please their masters, in order to submit and to obey. Just like us, we were designed in a way that we need a leader. We need some kind of outside savior, some kind of higher being to take care of us. And we want to give that loyalty and devotion to this higher being. So this is all just the theory. I'm not saying this is true or false. It's just something to think about. There's a lot more to this than what I've said, and you can take this and look further into it if it interests you. I think there's a lot of similarities and a lot of possibly some clues to help us understand where our place is actually in this realm. Are we subordinate creatures that were created with the sole purpose of having a master and being in submission to it? Like I said, that's what religion teaches, that we are to be submissive to God and to follow and be led by Him. And throughout history, the higher beings who come here, the stories are about us being a slave race, if you believe that. And we were created to be, so we were designed to be intelligent, sure, but a lot of our faculties have been closed off and turned off and hidden away from us. And we have those things blocked away. It's hard to access those higher faculties, even though we have them. And those could be two things. Either those could be the genetics of the gods, and when they genetically modified us with animals, we have those two states of being in one, and they turn those off. Or we are higher beings, which I want to think that's more to the truth. And we were imprisoned in these meat suits and these organic, robotic prison cells, prison bodies. And by being attached to this body, our natural higher faculties are blocked off from us while in this incarceration. I think that's probably more true. I hope that's more true, actually. And my inner knowing says that's more true than us just being created out of nothing to be pets or subordinates to these higher beings. But that still doesn't mean that the similarities of us and dogs doesn't apply. I mean, that's what we've been taught and conditioned to be, like dogs, our whole life, with not only God, but just authority in general, just higher authority, higher than ourselves. We have to submit and obey and follow and be good little dogs or sheep. So just all something to think about. And there's a lot more to this, but I think that should about do it for now. Let me know what you think.